Hi guys, welcome back to Stepping Out Average. Scars. You are not your scars. Look beyond your scars. Do not let your scars define who you are. Today, many of us are stuck, frustrated, misguided, misleaded, bullied, and are unsure of who we are. And in trying to figure out who we are, there are things that has scarred us, that has brought us pain, sadness, disappointments, and these things cause us to be underachievers. And when I say underachievers, I'm not putting somebody down by saying you've underachieved in life. But there's so many things that all the scars and the pain, the disappointments and the hurt has brought to our lives that it has made it impossible for some of us to go past or to look past. There's some of us that have started the process of going to school and have stopped because the pain and the hurt is there. There's some of us that turn to drugs, alcohol, sex, and different avenues that we release all these things that has caused us pain. And at the end of the day, we thought it was doing us good. But in the end, it didn't. It actually brought us back and has hurted us even more than where we began, where the hurt first started. I would like to say to us today, these scars that we all have, I do believe that there's no human being on this planet that has not been through something or that has not gone through something or is still going through something. Know that that is all that it is. We're going through it and we're going to come out on the other side. It may seem so hard and so difficult at this moment. It seems endless and it seems like, oh my God, when is this going to end? It eventually ends. It has to come to an end. Because the one thing that I can tell you is this: the one way up is down. So we go to the bottom, we hit the bottom, but it's a surefire thing that you're going to rise to the top. With some of the people that I've spoken to, their words were, I feel imprisoned. And I want to tell you that you can free yourself, first of all, by your own mindset and your own thinking. That you have to change your environment by positiveness, by speaking the things that are going to bring life to you. That is not going to suck the life out of you, but instead bring life to you. So even though you may feel trapped, imprisoned, and feel like, oh wow, I'm boxed in, you can break that box loose. You're the only one actually who has the power to do that, to relieve yourself or push back all the boundaries that all these pains and hurt has caused you. We have the ability within ourselves to speak life into us. And others do it as well, and we appreciate it. But when you speak it into yourself and you see the result, I'm telling you, it is the most freeing experience you will ever have. Pain can produce growth. Scars can produce masterpieces when we allow ourselves to be healed. Your take or your outlook on what has happened to you can be the difference of how or what you become. Our first start in life is vital to our end. And that may sound odd, but I'm going to explain to you why I say that. Our beginning starts with our parents. It could be your biological parents, adopted parents, foster parents, just people that have cared for you at a very early age, a tender age. And especially if you are raised with your biological parents. They have the greatest influence on your life. They impact you the most. What you learn, your fears, everything that you do, we learn them from our parents. And I believe that parents have one of the greatest roles for the next generation that we are embracing to come on this earth or to be a part of this planet. We as parents have to speak the things that we are wanting to see our children become and do. So, for example, we don't speak the negatives to them. We encourage them even when we see the negative things happening. But we must speak the positives and the things that are good that will direct them and steer them for them to be the best adult later on. Us being the greatest influence in our children's lives, I know they go to school and I know that they're involved in different sports and activities that are outside of the home. But inside of the home is where they get the best tools for the future. And I want to say to the parents out there, to the grandparents, the aunts, the uncles, the cousins, the family, the core family that we hold on to as what makes us up. Teach your children to love themselves. Teach them to care for themselves. Teach them to speak positively to themselves. And that eventually will cause them to do the same to anybody else that they meet. It is important for us to start the foundation that way, because when we do, we make life easier for them. A lot of us were raised differently, but we can't use that as excuses all of our lives. We've got to turn it around. We've got to do something different. If I was bullied in my youth growing up, or even as an adult, I can't continue to do that or carry it on, because if not, it will never heal. It will never end. So the time when you decide it's enough and you're going to do something about it, this is where we have the most power to impact a life. And that life, especially if you are a parent, and why I say especially, because for some of us, we're not parents. We're aunts and uncles that don't have or don't choose to have. But if you do, make the sacrifice to invest wisely the words that you choose to deposit into the next generation. With the right start, we could have the greatest professor on our hands, the greatest musician, the greatest poet, artist. We could have the greatest songwriter, we could have the greatest dancer. We could have the greatest teacher. And so with that level of influence that you can create that in someone else, that is a powerful weapon to have. So when you use that weapon wisely, it could only be good things that come out of it. Again, and I repeat again, we have the greatest influences on the younger generation. We have the chance to help them be their absolute best. We have one life to live, and we don't want to waste it. We want to make the most of it, to be all that we can be, that at the end, we will all be following our dreams. I just want to share this with you. A good friend of mine made this statement: parenting is not taught, but learned. Remember that. Good night. You've got one life to live, and you don't